Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Which is the very means of Bhagavad. One should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of God.
From 5 to 12.
5 to 12.
And we are focusing on
8. Okay, 8 is great. Okay, text number 5. Okay, Vallabhari. Just give me a second, okay? Vallabhari, you're a slippery guy. Hello, it's just Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that's true. Okay. So I'm just giving the class right now. And we have to leave tomorrow night or afternoon. Is that okay with you? Today is Thursday.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow's Friday. So, okay, tomorrow's Friday afternoon or Friday night?
When's the earliest?
As you say, Maharaj.
Well, as I say.
I just have a meeting at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Sooner, the earlier, the better.
Okay, sure, Maharaj.
Is it 4 o'clock or 4:30? What? Tell us. Tell us the truth.
4 seems okay.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. So help me, Krishna. Okay, so 4 o'clock. I guess we'll pick you up or you'll come to us. Okay, we'll pick you up. Okay, Haribol. Okay, so let's go for it, Prabhus. Text 5, okay? When Prahlad Maharaj heard how Bali Maharaj, his grandson and descendant, had been released from bondage and had achieved the benediction of the Lord, he spoke as follows in a tone of greatly ecstatic devotion. Prahlad Maharaj said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are universally worshipped, even Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, at your lotus feet. And although you are such a great personality, you kindly promised to protect us, the demons. I think that such kindness has never been achieved, even by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, what to speak of other demigods or common people. The supreme shelter of everyone, great personalities like Brahma enjoy their perfection simply by tasting the honey, rendering service at your lotus feet. But as for us, we're all rogues and debauchees, born of envious family of demons. How have we achieved your mercy? It has been possible only because your mercy is causeless. Your pastimes are wonderful, or by your inconceivable spiritual energy, and by our perverted reflection, the material energy. You have created all the universes. As the super soul of all living entities, you are aware of everything, and therefore you are certainly equal toward everyone. Nonetheless, you favor your devotees. This is not partiality, wherefore your characteristic is just like that of a desire tree, which yields everything according to one's desire. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, good fortune unto you. For the time being, please go to the place known as Sutala, and there enjoy happiness with your grandson and your other relatives and friends. The Supreme Personality of Godhead assured Prahlad Maharaj, you shall be able to see me there, usual feature of Kuncha, this club and lotus in my hand. Because of your transcendental bliss, due to always personally seeing me, you will have no further bondage to fruitive activities. Srila Sutta Goswami said, accompanied by Bali Maharaj, my dear King Parikshit, Prahlad Maharaj, the master of all the chiefs of the demons, took the Supreme Lord's order on his head with folded hands. After saying yes to the Lord, circumambulating him and offering him respectful obeisances, he entered the lower planetary system known as Sutala. Hare Krishna. Prabhu's okay? And we're looking at text number 8. Achitram tavehitam ahomita yogamaya Lila Vishrista Bhuvanasya Visharadasya Sarvatmana Samadrisho Vishama Swabhavo Bhakta Priyoyadasi Kalpataru
Chitram taveitam ahu amita yogamaya. Chitram taveitam ahu amita yogamaya.
Lila Vishrita Bhuvanasya Visharadasya
Lila Vishrasta Bhuvanasya Visharadasya.
सर्वात्मन सर्वात्मान समदर्शो विषमा स्वभावो
Vishama Swabhavo
Bhakta Priya Yoyad Asi Kalpataru Swabhaya
Chitram tavastityam ahomitya yogamaya.
Chitram Tavehitam Ahomita Ukamaya
Lila Vishrita Bhuvanasya Visharadasya
Lila Vishrasta Bhuvanasya Visharadasya.
सर्वात्मनः सदर्शो विषमः स्वभावो
Bhakta Priyoyad Asi Kalpataru Swabhaya
चित्रं तवेहितं अहोमित योगमाया
Chitram taveitam ahu amita yogamaya.
Lila Vishrista Bhuvanasya Visharadasya
Lila Vishrasta Bhuvanasya Visharadasya.
सर्वात्मना समदर्शो अविष्मा स्वभावो
भक्ता प्रियो यद् असि कल्पतरु स्वभावः चित्रं तवेहितं अहोमित योगमाया
Chitram taveitam ahu amita yogamaya.
लीला विश्वस्य भुवनस्य विशर्गस्य
Lila Vishrasta Bhuvanasya Visharadasya.
सर्वात्मनो समुद्रस्य विषमा स्वभावः भक्ता प्रियो यदसि कल्पतरु स्वभावः
Bhakta Priyoyadasi
Kalpataru Swabhava. Are we good? Done. Wow, perfect. Chitram, very wonderful. Tava ihitam, all your activities. Oho, alas, amita, unlimited. Yogamaya, of your spiritual potency. Leela, by the pastimes. Vishishta Bhuvanasya, of your lordship, by whom all the universes have been created. Visharadasya, of your lordship, who are expert in all respects. Sarva Atmanaha, of your lordship, who pervade all. Samadrishaha, and who are equal toward all. Avishamaha, without differentiation. Swabhavaha, that is your characteristic. Bhaktapriyaha, under the circumstances you become favorable to the devotees. Yet, because Asi, you are Kalpataru Swabhavaha,
Svabhava,
having the characteristic of a desire tree.
having the characteristic of a desire tree.
Translation, we do this together. Oh my Lord, your pastimes are wonderfully performed by your inconceivable spiritual energy and by your perverted reflection, the material energy. You have created all the universes. As a super soul of all living entities, you are aware of everything. Therefore, you're certainly equal toward everyone. Nonetheless, you favor your devotees. This is not partial, however, for your characteristic is just like that of a desire tree, which yields everything according to one's desire. Haribol, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Okay, great. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Samahang sarvabhuteshu na me dvesho stina priyaha ye bhajanti tumang bhaktya mayi te deshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. But whoever renders service unto
Me,
in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. The Supreme Personality of God is certainly equal toward all living entities, but a devotee who fully surrenders at the lotus feet of the Lord is different from a non-devotee. In other words, everyone can take at the lotus of the Lord to enjoy equal benedictions from the Lord. But non-devotees do not do so, and therefore they suffer the consequences created by the material energy. We can understand this fact by a simple example. The king or government is equal to all citizens. Therefore, if a citizen capable of receiving special favors from the government is offered such favors, this does not mean that the government is partial. One who knows how to receive favors from the authority can receive them, but one who does not neglects these favors and does not receive them. There are two classes of people, men it says here, the demons and the demigods. The demigods are fully aware of the Supreme Lord's position, and they are obedient to him. But rhymes with Stephen. Yeah. But even if demons know about the supremacy of the Lord, they purposely defy his authority. Therefore, the Lord makes distinctions according to the mentality of the living being. But otherwise, he is equal to everyone. Like a desire tree, the Lord fulfills the desires of one who takes shelter of him, but one who does not take shelter is distinct from the surrendered soul. One who takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord is favored by the Lord, regardless of whether such a person is a demon or a demigod. Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sanyavani Asya Chadesh Chatari. Okay. Okay, Prabhu, so this narrative is great. We're at a happy ending here, apparently so, at least for now, because we are living in the material world. This Leela does take place in the physical world, where it is expressed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avartinorajina mamopeti takunteya punar janma nividyate. From the highest planet to the lowest planet, there is, it's ups and downs, but there's misery, because everyone has to be born. And that's the case with Lord Brahma. Shiva is a unique category, but the demigods, they have an end, they have a beginning, and we're demigods and demons alike, pretty much. Okay, now let's look at some exalted people here. Prahlad Maharaj, and also Bali Maharaj. Prahlad's the granddad of Bali Maharaj. They belong to the Daitya dynasty. So what's unique, if we like go back to the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, amongst the Daityas, I am Prahlad. Do you remember that phrase? Amongst the Daityas. So Prahlad sticks out. That's the way it is. And Chanakya Pandit, you probably have heard of him before. There's Chanakya, there's a big, in the capital city of India, Delhi, there's Chanakya Puri, there's a big street after his name. He came up with a lot of beautiful sayings. He was a brilliant person. And he said that in every garden, there's going to be one prominent plant or flower that exudes all this, fragrance and so on. Like even sometimes, a fruit tree in a garden, it has dominance. Now it depends on the season too, doesn't it? If you wait a week later, that fruit will be harvested, the one that was so flavorful and aromatic, and then it gets replaced by another one. But you're going to find that whether you go into a bush or a garden, wherever there's plants, one will kind of dominate. And so in this clan called the Daitya dynasty, we're going to find that Prahlad and Bali, who are both in the category of Mahajans. Let's not forget that. They're a dozen. There's a dozen Mahajans, and we know that people buy by the dozen. They always talk about it, cheaper by the dozen, But here you have the benefit, 12 great souls who are authorities in the science of bhakti, And that's specifically that. They're expert in this area. And if you go through the whole list of the whole gamut of these great souls, they all offer a certain flavor. They offer a certain service, a certain level of surrender. And that is something that we should take note of. Prahlad Maharaj, for instance, how do we know him? What is he known for? I just wondered, with regards to the 9 devotions. What's he known for? Remembrance, yes. He's good on Remembrance Day. We should remember him on Remembrance Day. Okay? And that word is always very intriguing for me anyways. Remember, okay? We are all members of Krishna's family. And we decided individually we're going to dismember ourselves. We decided to divorce ourselves from Krishna. And like we discussed yesterday, try to be the big fish by the influence of Maya. Some of you may not know, but she played a wonderful Maya. Yes, still can do. All right. So Prahlad specialized in this particular field of remembering, and it was his remembrance that saved him from the, onslaughts of his nasty dad. That spared him. He came out unscathed, even though there was all kinds of abuse, mostly physical abuse. Psychological Prahlad was not fazed. But he's definitely a great hero. And you know why he's kind of up there even amongst the Mahajans? Because at the age of 5, he had already achieved perfection, you can say. He was a hero in the sense that when the big lion came out of the pillar, watch out, you were right next to him. He just had, he had no fear whatsoever, and but everyone else did. Even the likes of Narada Muni, even the likes of Lakshmi Devi, who usually sitting next to him by his chest, embracing his chest. She's also fearful of Narasimha when he roared in the 10 directions. Do you know what the 10 directions are? Does anybody know what the 10? Yes, go ahead.
East, west, north, south. Southeast, southwest. East, northeast, northwest. Up and down.
Very good. Okay. Wonderful. In all directions, the roar went out there, and everyone was so intimidated, except for Prahlad. He was not fazed at all. So, because of his young age, his youthfulness, childhood age, he had conquered, let's say. He had conquered his senses. He was very attached to the Lord, and this particular one. I think a lot of people like cats. I think a lot of people are, let's say, amazed and awestruck by cats, members of the cat family. There are domesticated cats, and people like them. Anybody have a cat? I hope not. Okay, what was that?
Radhika Mandala has a cat.
Okay, all right. We've had a cat here before, and her name was Cully, and she was black, and she had tilak mark on, and we had her because I don't remember Ugresh brought her in. Ugresh is a godbrother, he's a real estate agent in what do you call it? Scarborough.
English brothers?
His name's Ugresh. Ugresh. And this cat was really, he knew, or she knew instinctively not to go into the temple room. But she went anywhere else. And you know the special place where she'd go? She'd go into the rooms where the men would stay and sleep by their feet. Yeah, she like knew something, you know. Nobody taught her these things, but she knew something. And she was very skilled. If Prahlad was good at remembering, Kali was good at hunting. So people find cats adorable, whether even it's a lion or a Bengal tiger, it doesn't matter, or a Siberian tiger. They're all pretty powerful. And I'll be honest with you, my walks across Canada, I was never so worried about grizzlies or black bears. I was more concerned about mountain lions, pumas or cougars, you know. They were something to be concerned about. But there's one thing you learn when you're traveling, and that is, I'll give you some tips in case you're going to do the Canadian thing, which is to go and camp out somewhere. Let the animals know that you're there, you know. And, you know, Vyasacharya, I'll call you after I finish the class. Is that okay? Jack. Okay. Bears, a lot of animals out there, they don't like the sound of high-pitched noises, you know? Like if you have like a bell on your backpack, you know, the bears they'll take off. They don't like that. It's very irritating for them, you know, or cartals, if you dangle them, you know, you play they just don't like it at all, you know. So that's one way to deal with them. Yeah, but otherwise they're adorable. And you also have to, you do not run or don't go on high speed. That gets them all exhilarated. You have to go at a sort of a normal pace. And if you do shock them, surely they're going to get after you. They're going to come and go for your jugular vein. And if they do, then you have to do like this. You have to put your hands here and try to fight them off. So the next time that a wild cat may go after you, that's where you have to, you have to protect yourself here. There are instances in North America where people were attacked by, hungry cougars, and one guy was able to fight this guy off, this one. So, but it's rare. They're vicious, and you got to stand your ground. You could maybe scream, maybe high pitch, Again, they don't like those things. But if you are actually gonna, kind of like cyclists, those guys on the high-speed bikes, they attract bears, they attract cats, because it just gets them all excited, And one thing you don't want to do is have, lots of smells on you. Like deodorant, don't do it. Just wash, don't take deodorant, aftershave, male, female products. Just try to avoid, just try not to smell. Because they're attracted to that. So some tips, okay? Some tips there. Prahlad Maharaj was fearless. And in fact, Narada Muni, he said, go, calm him down. They actually gave him like a love shove. Go. We can't bear it anymore. So Narada Muni was the man. And even Lakshmi, his Narsingha's wife, wasn't able to tone him down. But they knew that Prahlad had the ability to do so. He was fearless. So Bali and Prahlad, they are like-minded. They are both in the Daitya dynasty, the family of the demons, but they had incredible devotional qualities. This is where it gets a little confusing sometimes, you know. Does anybody remember the name of the brother of Ravana?
Four.
Oh, no, yeah, well, of course, yes, yeah. And I'm also thinking about, I'm thinking, yeah, Kumbhakarna, yeah, of course, yeah. There's some of these people had good qualities. I'm thinking a little bit more of, yes, you know, yeah, Bibhishan, you know, Bibhishan, and he had devotional qualities where his brother did not. So it gets a little confusing sometimes, you know. And Hidimba, remember Hidimba? He was born of Hidimbi and Bhima, right? And he appeared to be like a Rakshasa. He had that form because his mother was like that. You know, Rakshasas, they look at each other and they're hideous to us. From our perspective, they're like ugly, you know, deformed. But they look at each other as, oh, you're so divine, you know. It's funny. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So for Prahlad and Bali, they all express through their prayers how they are, you know, like we talked about yesterday, for all I've done, all sins I've committed, I deserve worse karmically. They take a humble position. And devotees do that sometimes. They have a little game going on. Have you ever heard this game? Oh, Prabhu, you know, I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madai, you know? And then the other devotees say, oh, I'm more sinful than a worm in stool, you know? And another devotee say, well, I'm more wretched than the stool of the worm in stool. So you just have this competitive thing. It's kind of fun. It's a very unique humor that you find in ISKCON. You won't find it anywhere else. You know? They try to outdo each other in their humility. It's so funny. We have one devotee, Yadanath, in New York. He's a stand-up comedian. He's so good at capturing these things, the funny things devotees do. And, you know, like one devotee will come, it's the Bhagavatam class is going on. Of course, he says it very expertly. One devotee said, oh, Prabhu, here's a mat for you. So, no, it's for you. And they kind of fight over it. And by the time they settle the matter, the Bhagavatam class is over. You know? So it's you know, we need humor too, you know. Prabhupada was a humorist. He was a laughologist. You need it in your life, you know. He even gave his disciples nicknames like, instead of Shruti Kirti, Shruto. And Gargamuni was really into making money. So he called him Gargamuni. And Kirtanananda was in the kitchen lot, so he called Kitchen Ananda. And that lightened up the atmosphere, you know. We know that you all like to laugh and giggle a little bit, and it's absolutely necessary as a human condition. You know, it has to be there. Otherwise, even devotional life will come across extremely grave and too regimented and too square and too flat, you know. There has to be brightness here. You know, Krishna was like that too. Well, was the name Vishal came in and Krishna was, Mother Yashoda was decorating him, one of the cowherd boys, and he was standing on a chair. Krishna came with his flute and just popped him on that, boop, like that. Those are little, you know, gestures of lightness that God implicates himself in. And Prabhupada did as well. Devotees have to have a little bit of humor. And, you know, we have seen pictures of Prabhupada laugh. Aren't they wonderful? I mean, look at that one of him. I would say there's gravity there, wouldn't you? You know? And that was done here in Toronto. It was a limited edition print by an Oxford art teacher in the UK. Nice job done. Well, you capture different moods of Prabhupada all over the place. But the bottom line for devotees is humility and praising the Lord. If I was a Christian, it's praise the Lord. Okay, you know how they do it. They shake up the whole building. They speak so loud you have to hold you. Praising the Lord means just saying thank you. There are places that I go to, like in Cuba, and also where the population is very, very black, you can say, and they do that. They get all aroused up and get quite excited about praising the Lord, and they belch it out really, really loud, and they do jump and they sing in great with great passion. It's quite nice to see. One year I spent Christmas in Cuba, and there were a lot of churches all around where I was staying, and it was totally like that, And they also have a group of people they call the Santerias. They also have a lot of, joyful singing and dancing, and, they're very interesting. It's an interesting group.
Gospel? Like a gospel?
The Santerias, they are a different group, but they do kind of, they do hang a chicken and put it by the tree, and they do all kinds of stuff like that.
Voodoo, yeah.
A little bit voodoo going in that direction, yeah. Okay, so Prahlad, Bali, and the like, they're into praising and expressing gratitude. That's what we're doing every day of our life. When we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're saying, thank you, Krishna, thank you. And we keep saying it again and again, because there's no limit as to how you can thank God, honestly. And, last night there was a big storm. Did anybody hear it? There's lightning, thunder, everything. Of course, the snow was there, and the rain, everything came. And I looked out the window, with the arched window where you can kind of see everything there on Roxborough Street. And I said, thank you, Krishna, for giving us some rain. Thank you for giving us the snow. Whatever you're giving us, we're okay with that. And it was pointed out by one of the devotees here the other day, too, that where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expresses, whatever you want to do with me, it's okay for me. If you want to crush me, trample all over me, or if you want to embrace me, I'm okay with it, as long as I have some service. Service is the great prize. It's the real gem. There's nothing like it. Service keeps you busy, and basically the best physiotherapy for almost anybody, keep busy. And the worst thing to do is to not be busy and to think and think and think and overthink. That's where the trouble begins. When you just overthink, you're just listening to a demon. And an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Prabhupada quoted that a lot of times. So consider it a blessing, and don't try to evade services. It's always coming at you, so take it. It's Krishna's blessing. And in terms of the topic, 929, Samahang Sarvabhuteshu, Name Dveshu Stina Priya, where Krishna says, I am equal to all. I don't show favoritism. But, there's a but. But if someone makes a special effort to come to me, I will give them a little preference, okay? Now, is that a fault? Can we say that is a criticism towards God? I don't think so. And let's just give an example, and then we'll go on to your questions and everything. Somebody is, okay, you're working, let's say you have kids, okay? You're working on the beaches, and you heard, that's broadcast over the radio, that the school that your kids are is on fire. And, so immediately you're thinking the kids have to be saved, but you're thinking about your own kid, right? You're thinking about your own child, not about the other kids so much. Of course, you have a heart for everybody, but you'll gravitate immediately to your own kid, because no one will protect that child like you will.
Yes, a responsibility, yeah.
Yeah, it's your responsibility. So you can say it's favoritism, but it's not really, And anybody who has a child understands all children. You feel a sense of protectiveness over all children because you have one, and you know what it takes to look after them and feed them and make them happy and pacified. But there is a preference, There is a preference. I always think of the Peter Brooks's version of the Mahabharata, and there's they have the conflict between the two cousins, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, and there's Dhritarashtra and Gandhari have a discussion with each other, and over the Pandavas were taken care of by Dhritarashtra. And she says something like, but you do have a preference, and that is your own sons. And then he goes, so do you? So it's kind of like that. It's human nature, to have preferences. So Krishna is equally treating everyone equal opportunity. But not everyone takes advantage of these opportunities. Some people are just don't have that drive. Some people don't have the, let's say, the hustle power in them to go and do something. So they are usually at a disadvantage. So, but Krishna offers the same to all, and he definitely shows some favor to those who are reaching out to him. You know why? Because anybody who expresses his name, it's like if I say Nityananda, so, yes, immediate attention, right? Devangshi, okay, oh yes, immediately. It's music to your ears. So for Krishna, hearing his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Krishna's good with everybody, but for those who utter his name, he gives special attention. He loves to hear his name. That's all. So any questions or comments, Prabhus, from any of you? Si, senor.
What happened to the cat?
Well, the cat, they get old and they die. I can't quite remember, but some people in the community would have considered him Muchi, but we thought it was more Muchi not to have a cat and have mice around the place. What's more Muchi?
Yes.
Yeah, rats too. The Muchi. We had one rat. We had a little bit of an infestation, and we brought in. Were you around Harkamar when we brought in the ferrets? Mm-hmm. We brought in 2 ferrets, and they took care of the rats. No, right about here, right about there where Prabhu, you were playing the mridanga. Yeah, so we saw I was eating prasadam in the floor here. This is the prasadam room, and a rat came. He's just moseying along himself. And he had like a curved back. He was ugly as anything. We called him Duryodhan. But if you have to choose. A lot of our temples in the older buildings, they'll have a cat because the cat is doing some seva. Right. So we've had some other reincarnations of cats in the past, but not lately. Not lately.
Can we have one?
Yeah.
Do we need one?
No, we have some more rats.
Okay, you guys work it out. Okay,
No,
let's-
we need a cat. There's something better than a cat, Maharaj. It's 2 cats.
Oh. Animals do have fleas, The truth is they do have.
Well, we did have a cat. We used to sleep on the mattresses.
Oh, that was another cat. That was another one. We had Kali, and he didn't, you know.
Tell them about the cat that ate the mouse in the prasad and left the tail on the floor.
So what happened?
Well, I saw the real thing, cat and mouse game. There was the cat, and he caught a mouse, and he flung him in the middle of the room, and he's just looking the other way, and his tail is going like this. It means he's kind of happy, you know. And then the mouse, and the cat just didn't mind. And then when he got close, the mouse got close to like a hole, then he pounced him, and he, with his paw, he threw him back in the circle, in the ring. And he's going at him like this, and, you know, teasing him, and the mouse was, leave me alone, you know, and it was a scene. It was like a show. It was a drama. Cat and mouse game. Ultimately, the cat pounces and gets his way. Yep. Okay.
Then
Yes.
I tell about something about Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram.
Yes.
Prabhupada used to say what?
What about it?
Rameshwaram.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about it?
Ramesh.
He's asking if you can say something about Rameshwar Prabhu.
Rameshwar Prabhupada disciple.
Yeah. Why did that come up? I guess he's a cool cat, right? Well, Rameshwar, he came from a Jewish background, I know that, and he was from the East Coast. He was from the East Coast. He moved to the West Coast and became the main leader there, the Sankirtan leader for book distribution. And then he got a little weak devotionally, and he left he was not active in the movement like that. And, he got married and everything like that, even though he was a sannyasi. And then what happened was the lady he married found out that he was a devotee, and she got all upset that why he'd never told her anything about him being devotional, with being with the Hare Krishna. So she kind of rejected him, And then, but he took it in good stride. He actually got back into the movement, and he's been giving good advice, and he's very active. You'll see him in Mayapur every year, and he's a very devoted guy. He's very, very loves Prabhupada like anything. So that's Rameshwar, yeah. I mean, he lives in New York now. He's back on the East Coast, but you'll see him in Mayapur. Maybe he spends more time there. Slowing down, like many of the Prabhupada disciples are. Yes, good. We still have a little time. Any other thoughts that have come up? Yeah. Okay.
Maharaj, I really like the point that you made, that if you're calling out to someone with their need, then they'll give you that special attention. And
Oh, yeah.
if you're calling out Krishna, Krishna will also give you special attention. It's a reflection, not a question. But I have a picture of Prabhupada. If you can give a little bit context of what is happening here.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm not really sure, but sometimes when he'd give a class, he would pop out his eyes, just to make a point. So when Guru Das comes here, maybe you can ask him. It might be his photo.
Actually, he did mention about this picture.
Guru Das.
This one, yes. This one, or there's something similar to this.
Oh, yeah.
He's mimicking how the demon looked like when they were dying.
Oh, yes.
And so those expressions that he captured.
Okay.
So those are the it's in his book too.
Right. Yeah, we're going to bring him in again, right?
Yes.
This year. Yeah, he was happy to come and take advantage of it. He was pretty healthy and strong. I mean, he was surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm sorry I couldn't answer that, but definitely he's very animated. Let's put it that way. We do have a picture of Prabhupada upstairs when he's at the Royal York Hotel, and he's we'd had a press conference with him, but he didn't want to stay there. So he came to Cabbagetown where we were, we had our temple, a rented house at 187 Gerrard. And he actually wanted to stay just around the corner, Pembroke Street. He wanted to be closer to the devotees, even though it was sort of a crummy neighborhood, you know. He'd rather be there than in the posh Royal York Hotel. You know, that was more important for him to be with the devotees. He showed by example what should be our spirit as well, that sadhu sangha is the most cherished gift. You know, I would say it's more important than even seva. Remember we were talking about seva, being busy in Krishna service. You know why we say that sadhu sangha is more important? Because wherever there are the sadhus, wherever are the devotees, you'll be guaranteed to be doing some seva. In fact, it's even more important, you know, than sadhu sangha is more important than chanting Hare Krishna. Now, you might react like, oh, really? And your jaw might open. But the reason why we say that is because when you're in the association of devotees, you will be chanting Hare Krishna. You will be doing seva. So really that's the top most position to be in, to have devotees in your company. More on our philosophy tells us clearly that's more important than being with Krishna. I mean, if you want to get close to Krishna, you have to get through to his devotees. There's a saying, you love me, you have loved my dog. First. And when you go to Ramsden Park, you know, where they have that dog field, right? And, you know, people just, they only start to talk to each other when their dogs meet. And their dogs, they sniff all over, you know, and then as soon as the dogs meet, then, oh, it's bona fide now, I can talk. The green light. You know, it's like that, isn't it? You have to talk about the dogs, T-O-G instead of G-O-D. Yeah. Yes.
Maharaj, you made a very nice point, like not to run away from services, see and take it and see that Krishna's blessing. Sometimes we are not in mood of doing services, and sometimes there is service we don't like, or maybe something it's very lenient.
Right.
How can we see it as Krishna's blessings at that time?
Well, when something's, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So what we're simply saying is that if Krishna gives you a service that's not your cup of tea, so to speak, then that's great. That's real surrender. Not always doing what you like to do. That's not surrender. It's like taking medicine. I don't want, anybody want to take medicine? No. Anybody here? Medicine, taking medicine. No, nobody likes to take medicine. It's bitter, it's harsh. Nobody wants to swallow the pill. But, you know, it makes you tough. It gives you a thick skin. It builds character. You know, that's where character comes from. Just like, I remember Tamahar, does anybody know Tamahar? He was the head of our child protection group, and he and his wife live in Florida. He grew up in the Chicago area, and I remember his wife Mantarini. There was a discussion about weather. You know, like they were both raised in the north, where the summers are really nice and the winters are kind of harsh. And you know what they say about that convectional kind of weather condition? It builds character in people. It really does. You know, when you know, the kind of weather we went through yesterday, and I don't know if any of you were brave enough to get out there, but you know, it's harsh. But it makes you a little bit tough. It's okay. As opposed to where the weather's always really nice. The Zaya trees are there. You wished upon a falling star or whatever, or desire tree I'd like a mango right now, so I was thinking about, a peach would be a little better, okay? So you get what you want. Then you don't develop strength. You don't build the muscles. The muscles are built, the strength comes from taking up some austerity and learning tolerance, isn't it? So you find people who come from, those kind of different climates, up and down. They're very colorful people in general. And they tend to be less lazy. They tend to be on time. That's a fact. People who come from colder climates, they're on time. People who come from colder climates, they're usually on time. Especially where they make clocks. That's my observation.
Yeah, like Boston, New York, they always.
Yeah, they're on time. Or like say even in Europe, there's North and South Italy, and the southern, the more closer you are, in the Mediterranean, the more you're like, hey,
Siesta.
yeah. On the other hand, just to kind of keep alive, to keep going, in the colder climate. So I wouldn't knock it. We were talking about Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, and they went to the north. They went to the Himalayas. They went to where it's cold for their deliverance, for their moksha. Vidura had given that instruction. Go to the north. Leave this place. Leave this palace. Most palaces and big houses are just trouble. There's also so much intrigue. It's true. Better to be in a cozy little place or a little nook somewhere in the brahmachari or brahmacharini ashram and share some space with somebody. Better that than have a big mansion and with a few people in there are always wanting it. Okay, I think that's good enough. They were good questions and maybe mediocre answers, but I want to thank you very much. And I guess we should move along.